Drama at Citizen TV as some GITUKU thoroughly roast President William RUTO ahead of 2027.
Activities being undertaken.
I hear you. Let us make progress. You're very clear, very coherent on implementation of Manifesto of 2022. I am talking about the ambition the President laid out in Parliament on Thursday, and he labeled them the 4 pillars. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Senator Nyonka, how do you make sure that there's buy-in across board? I don't know why you're getting jittery, Senator.
No. I'm just thinking
you don't like my question,
the context. No, I'm thinking the context.
Problem with this presidency,
No, Manzo, don't take it that
Sorry,
way.
Senator Nyonka, if it's to be Vision 2055 for the country, how do you make sure that all these concerns are addressed and it's bringing the entire country together? Because it's not about William RUTO, it's not about UDA, it's about the country.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
The reality that we've got is it's commonsensical. The first thing you do is create transparency. I mean, you see, we've never said you cannot have a new airport in Kenya. These 2 colleagues of ours were in the National Assembly and the Senate together. If the president believes that whatever he's suggesting is actually valid and it makes sense, simply give us the template with even your members of the Senate and the National Assembly. Let us look at what you're looking at. We are not stupid, all of us. We are not anti-government, all of us. What we are saying, why are we finding it difficult to rationalize any decision we make in this government? Why is it that when we are making arguments saying the Rwandese government negotiated with the Emirates, they have been given 42 aeroplanes, and they have come up with a strategy where the government has borrowed $2 billion. And they're getting an airport that is incredible, it's beautiful, and it's within its limit for the Rwandese government to pay. They are opening up Africa for the Rwandese government. These are the things we are talking about. We are not saying, you see, Sami, every time I sit here with my colleagues, and we sit, and even people out there who are Kenyans, and they mean well, we are not saying what the president is saying cannot be done. What we are saying, do it within the law. Don't sell Kenya Pipeline. It's a parastatal that is making profits. It's a parastatal that is worth billions of dollars, not even shillings. We are a landlocked country. I mean, there are landlocked countries within us who are neighbors. We should be negotiating with them and giving them that pipeline to Uganda, to Rwanda, to Burundi, to Eastern Congo. That is now when I would see that the president is at his game. He is increasing the revenue that our country is going to get, that he is prudent in his management, that in fact the legal frameworks that he's going to use are accountable, transparent, clear, and acceptable to Kenyans. That we should have public hearings with Kenyan experts. How many Kenyans do we have who have PhDs, who have done engineering? Go to Botswana and see what they have done with the meat industry. Go to other African countries and see what Kenyans are doing there, because they are technical individuals who are smart and they are able to work. Wonderfully, when Kenyans go out there, they don't steal, they are not corrupt. When we are here at the local level, that is what we do, because we love primitive accumulation. We think having aeroplanes and having 19 houses and owning $3 billion US, we think we'll not die and be buried in a 6x4. So what we are saying is not that this speech which the president gave was nonsensical. No, it was okay. Mr. President, I see what you're saying, but I'm arguing that the basic foundations that you need to put into place for what you want to achieve to be achieved doesn't exist. Right now, if you were to borrow the 5 trillion, I swear in the name of God, I don't think even a trillion will get to Kenya. Why?
But you don't have
the records we have, let me finish. The records we have, now we have given it the executive authority. They can actually borrow money. It doesn't have to go through parliament. We can out there give out a Eurobond. When you are complaining about it, they talk about Uhuru Kenyatta did it, and therefore they can do it. Yep. When you are talking about, can we get electrification on the SGR so that then you reduce the time and speed that we are spending to transport goods from Mombasa to Malaba? When we are talking about the local technology that is available, materials like concrete, like cement, which can build cheaper roads for our people. Neighborhoods which are, I mean, a house that is going to cost in Rwanda, where poor people have been built houses, doesn't cost equivalent Kenyan money more than 120,000 Kenyan shillings. a 3-bedroom house which the Rwandese government has done for the people. So what we are saying, if this administration means well, let them work within the law, let them be transparent, let them give us their priority. Go and look at Konza City. Struggling. Look at Vision 2030. Sami, every time in our country a president comes, by the time he has finished his 5 or 10 years, sorry, not 5, what happens? The next one who comes stops doing exactly what the predecessor was doing, and then he starts opening up his own new things. You see what I'm saying? Okay. In other words, we are right at the spot where we are. We are going in circles over the same issue. Why? Because our development agenda is purely based on the deals which are being made from government contracts, which are being offered either to the private capacity.
Vision 2030 has not tamed that?
We what?
The Vision 2030?
Have you ever heard anything about Vision 2030? Since Kibaki ended. Since Kibaki went.
So even if you're to bring the stakeholders together,
yes,
how do you ensure that Vision 2055 guides the country for those 30 years?
My argument is there's nothing like 2055. You don't have a roadmap on where we are going in this country. What we do is plan, have economic plans, and come up with budgetary arrangements for the simple reason that individuals are going to make big-time dollars out of the government contracts that are coming. There's nothing going to happen.
Senator Manzo,
yes.
Parliament, the current Parliament, you've passed several laws, whether it's the National Assembly or the Senate or both. There's a law that was passed just recently, Government-Owned Enterprises Act, and it was signed into law, I think, on Friday. There's the privatization law that now we understand is supposed to be feeding into the infrastructure fund. There's a draft law on sovereign wealth fund. I don't know if you have seen it from the National Treasury. So different pieces of legislation coming in, but you don't see the framework that each is supposed to be driving towards the same direction. How do you change that so that Parliament is well versed of where we're headed? What's the direction?
Unfortunately, these laws leave State House as drafted, are stamped at Parliament, and they go back to State House, and they are signed into law, and they are not meant to serve Kenyans as they should have. They don't go, the public participation is cosmetic. Yes. No ideas are picked from the public. Simply is a dictatorship. The solution to this, because the president has completely misdirected himself and misdirected the country, the 8 million Kenyans who last time didn't vote, I'm asking them now to vote to send this government packing. The young people in this country, this is the only solution now, because as it is, this dictatorship will go on up to 2027. No new law as such will be made which will serve the people. The young people now should do mandamano to go and register as voters and also send this government packing. Because as it is set up now, what President RUTO is doing by robbing every pay slip, because this is robbery from the pay slips to do the affordable housing, which is not affordable. These are houses for bourgeoisies.
That robbing was approved by Parliament.
Now, yes. Robbing.
Yes. I was quiet when they talked. It was approved by Parliament, which is captured. The truth of the matter is there is no Parliament working in this country. It is only Ruto's brain working and the dictatorship, a total dictatorship. And the only solution to they will have their time to answer. The only solution to a total dictatorship like the one President Ruto is doing now is to send him packing in 2027. Our constitution allows him to send him home. He has created this impression that he must force himself back to Kenyans. He must do everything he must do to bring back himself. And I'm telling Kenyans, the sovereign power belongs to them. If you don't send this administration packing, we are not going to change anything. All these are lies, these so-called dreams. It is the government, the people around the government are just stealing. There's corruption. There's nothing to do about it.
That's very strong.
The government institutions, yes.
Senator Manzo, that's very strong language.
Very wrong.
Can you look at the newspaper?
You can't allow it on the
license.
I hope you are not comfortable with
to export.
Sorry.
License by Parliament.
Senator Maina, I understand your discomfort.
There's no need to keep on debating here, Sam. Let's send President Ruto home.
Okay.
There's nothing
All right, Senator Manzo, you made your point.
That is true.
Why don't you
Senator
leave the
Manzo.
studio? We continue with it. Let me write
I don't think
I will give you a
came
chance.
for political shouting.
Please, Senator Manzo, I've heard you. You're telling Kenyans to send the president home.
Yes.
They'll have to wait until the election because that's the constitution. But Senator Maina, I see you getting jittery that I'm not interjecting when he's asking the question that
You've
Parliament
left
is
them
captured.
peacefully to
Let
say.
me explain to you.
Yeah.
This is the problem with this government. It doesn't listen.
He sits
And are you
in-
listening now?
Senator Maina, please.
Do you listen every
Are you
day?
listening?
President
Senator
Ruto never
Maina.
listens. Senator Maina never listens.
Senator
That's the
Manzo,
problem with the
please stop
government.
disrupting the conversation. Senator Manzo sits in Parliament with you.
Yes.
If he sits here to tell me Parliament is captured, what about?
Exactly. These are the
He
kind
sits
of
with
leaders we need to send home. You know why? Their approach is lamentations as opposed to solution-based politics. Now, what they do is they pick the manifesto and anything being done today, Sam, and they trash it and they say everything is terrible, it is corruption, money is being stolen. These are the leaders people have sent to Parliament. Imagine all those laws that Manzo is quoting, together with my colleague Senator Onyonka.
Yep.
They have been part of that process.
No.
And their responsibility...
We never voted for what they did.
No.
We never did. That time,
the
Senate was under state
Can you
capture.
protect me? You
They
know,
were
you didn't
under
allow us
state
to
capture.
interfere
You
with
saw
it.
the
Can I
MPs have been
finish
saying how they
my
passed
opinion?
bad
Senator
laws.
You can't
The
hear one
MPs have been
side.
talking about it.
I
This
think
is the problem
Sammy-
we
Please
have.
don't be
Sammy.
triggered. I'm wondering.
The MPs have
I
said
have-
it on the floor.
Senator
Allow
Nyonka.
me.
I think
But the
Sammy-
MPs have said it on
It's
the
my
floor.
Don't be
airtime.
triggered.
Sam,
Bad
it's
law.
my
Let her make her
airtime.
statement, please, Senator.
Let me
We never
finish.
did.
Can I
They
finish?
did. They were in
Do
government.
you know, this is what I'm saying. We cannot be leaders given responsibility by Kenyans to go and check if you are in opposition, if the government brings any law, the executive comes with any law which you don't agree with.
Yep.
Deal with it in Parliament, marshal your vote, oppose it, and don't allow it to succeed.
But we
now,
didn't have the numbers.
But let me
What is-
finish.
Sorry, Senator
It's
Nyonka.
my chance.
It's a blood-based government.
So if you don't have
Senator Maina,
numbers,
as you conclude on
if
that
you
point,
don't have
please
Yeah,
stop
That's
that here.
so-
not an excuse.
Now, raise
our
the
argument
numbers.
is
If
we
the law
said-
is passed,
we
Raise
said
the
we
numbers.
have-
Mheshimiwa Session,
please passed by the majority,
Let
it
Let me say
becomes
this.
a law.
Let me say this.
Through
Nobody's
how
hearing
I
you.
do
people
not.
knows it.
I do
There's
not.
no
Nobody,
excuse.
We
Mheshimiwa
don't
Session.
not every
Why are you
number.
allowing this and you are not allowing
Nobody
me
can
to
hear you.
interject?
If all of you speak at the same time, nobody is going to hear you. And I have no choice but to end the conversation. But Senator Maina, I wanted you to just respond to this. The question I asked to Senator Manzo. If you look at all these laws, they appear interconnected. At the point that Parliament was considering privatization law, they were not in sight of the infrastructure fund. Now they are told the privatization law resources or proceeds will be used to finance the infrastructure fund.
Yes, because
Where is this policy framework that will guide even Parliament as you're passing law? You see the bigger picture.
let me ask
Because if you don't see it, then you might feel like you're set up.
do you know what precedes what? What precedes the law is the policy framework. Law is made after policy is put in place.
Yes.
But now what we have here is I'm seeing leadership that is not taking time to understand the context of everything that
Surely,
is being
first
brought.
of all, there's not been a
Let
policy
me-
until the past
Let me
few
explain.
weeks.
Allow me to speak because you are allowing my colleagues to answer and finish.
You still
Whether
have the
the
mic.
opinion
Sabi, you are
suits,
the anchor.
do you have
I think-
answers,
I think you should
specific
let her run the
answers
show
that you
for a
want me
while.
to
No,
fit?
Senator Maina, please.
Okay, then let
don't
me
be
explain
triggered.
my point. Let
Don't
me
be
explain.
triggered. Just give me an
No,
answer.
I'm not triggered, by
There's
the
no
way.
policy we have passed in Parliament. None.
Gosh.
Because we must
About
first pass the
selling
policy.
state-
Sorry,
state
allow her to make her
corporations.
answer
Sam,
the best way she knows.
We are selling everything.
You're saying policy precedes law.
policy precedes law.
Yeah.
And if you allow me to speak, because my colleagues have been allowed to speak, I will answer. Otherwise, I should come on studio when they are not there and they come when we are not there. But let me say this. We have a problem with leadership that laments and does not give solutions to Kenyans. I want to hear a leader who comes and says, the sovereign fund that is being created is not good because of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That I have not
so
had.
many times.
Number 2, let me say this. Context is everything. Show me a government that you succeed and make it. And show me a government that does long-term planning. If you look at governments like China, governments like the US, they don't do a 5-year plan for their nations. They cast into 100-year sum. So when I hear someone questioning just a block of 10 years, in fact, we should be challenging the government to show us how they want Kenya to look like in 30 years. When you look at China, how they have eradicated poverty, they have had 100 years, and they did centennial goals. Those centennial goals, everything fits within context. We should be having a government plan, and government works in perpetual succession. Government is not a showdown place for politics of this party and that party. Ideally, what should happen is this. Can you allow me to finish?
Please finish.
Let me finish what my reasoning is.
Just finish.
Now, when this government is in power, for instance, we had the Jubilee Party running the government. The programs they left, I have listened to people saying that the President RUTO has implemented what planning Uhuru had put in place. What is wrong with doing that? There's nothing wrong, because once government does a block of planning for 50 years for infrastructure, ideally in perpetual succession, the other government should come in and ensure the roads that were programmed for Murang'a County, for Makueni, they don't stop because the political party changes. That's what I'm saying. Right. It's not a showdown for political parties that after 5 years, you abandon a project halfway, which was being done with public resources, start another new one to suit the ego of the new political party. And I'm saying this,
yes, Senator.
The development agenda must be anchored in very good planning.
Okay.
The sovereign fund is like what you have in Norway. They have a sovereign fund which is very rich. Now that sovereign fund gives the government reserve that funds development. That becomes
Senator Waina, I need us to transition because you're coming to the end of time. Now, the president spoke yesterday in Tororo, Uganda, about that first asset that is going to be privatized. And
you've watched and listened to the video, ladies and gentlemen, of Sam GITUKU. It's explaining what is happening in this country, where we are heading to. I don't want to extend much on that because it's long. Please bear with me. Let's meet on another political discussion. If you are first time viewer watching me in this channel, please subscribe, like my video, share my video to your friends, family, and relatives. That is the only thing I want to advise you to listen to, so that you understand where we are heading to, so that you should not do the same mistake you did in 2022. And Sam GITUKU is here to tell us facts and just to make us learn what we are not understanding based on leadership, as is deconstructing the government and exposing the government using the government machineries who are there and couldn't explain how the country is and where we are heading to as a nation. That is the best movement you have done, and I want to congratulate them. I want to congratulate him for such a great deconstruction. This is not the first time GITUKU is deconstructing William Ruto. Remember that. And not only him, plus other news reporters. We have Yvonne Okwara and the rest. They are doing a great job, and let's support them and let's congratulate them. Ladies and gentlemen, I rest my case at that point. At this point.